Betches Media presents
Haha, laugh, funny.
Mention It All, a Bravo by Betches podcast.
We don't say that, but now we said it.
With Dylan Hafer.
Who gonna check me, bro?
And Barry Rosenfeld.
I need to start drinking alcohol. Now go to sleep, we.
Hey everyone, welcome back to the Mention It All podcast. I'm Dylan Hafer.
And I'm Barry Rosenfeld, and it's Beverly Hills Day.
Beverly Hills Day. Next week is the season finale already, which, I mean,
I know.
Like, to say already, it's like, yeah, I mean, it's been like 18 episodes. It's not like crazy. And we have a 4-part reunion, but it still is like, wow, we're not going to get, I feel like we've been getting so much information week to week. And, you know, like, we're not going to know what's going on anymore. Like, we're not going to have our, like,
unless we read the news.
Well, right. But like, we're not going to get our like weekly dose of like Erica reacting to whatever is happening in real time, which, I mean, right. I know right now we're watching it and it's like 8 months delayed. So it's not like in real time, but it is like, it makes it more fun to kind of have the like context for what's happening. And, you know, I'm going to miss it. I'm going to miss these gals.
I'm going to miss it, but it's so funny. Like you just said, 4-part reunion, which means like, we're not getting rid of Beverly Hills for a very long time. It's going to be
right.
on.
Like we're right. Like the season for real is not going to end until like the first week of November or something.
Oh my God. Tomorrow's October.
Exactly.
Like,
So we've still got like 5 weeks left. I am really excited for the reunion though. So I'm like, you know, I'm a little nervous about 4 parts. I'm like, you know, because I know like you and I aren't always a fan of 3 parts even. So it's like, you know, for them to go with 4, they've only done that once before. It was the Atlanta season with the Phaedra stuff.
Right.
I'm sure that there is like something that made them feel like they needed to. But at the same time, I'm like, please don't give us 2 episodes of filler.
Exactly. I didn't look at the actual like schedule yet. I don't even know if it's out, but what I'm hoping for is that it's like what they did like with another season recently, like Wednesday, Thursday, and then Wednesday, Thursday which I think they will, because technically that's a month long of reunions. They have to do that. That's 4 Wednesdays in a row. You can't do that. It's too
I wouldn't
far
be
apart.
mad about that. I think Winter House starts on Wednesdays, like the last week of October. So they might want to have it finished, you know, like in time for that. I don't know like how the timing would work out, but I don't know. I kind of feel like they want to milk it as long as possible because I feel like Beverly Hills has been like delivering. I don't know, whatever the schedule is. Obviously we'll be talking about all of it.
Yes.
But let's get into last night's episode. We are, you know, still on the coast.
Sorry, I'm laughing. Imagine we just like don't cover one of the we surprise everyone and just like skip part 2.
Whatever part is juiciest, that's just for us. We're not talking about it.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's actually the best strategy of planning a podcast. Whatever people want to hear about the most, just don't talk about it.
Yeah, just don't.
Leave them wanting more. That's like showbiz. That's showbiz, baby.
Showbiz, baby. Yeah, we're still in San Diego.
Yeah, I like this. All of these places in California where you're like not actually in a big city, but you're like kind of close to a big city, and it's like on the beach and just like gorgeous. Like this is like my dream. Like, I just want to go and hang out in California at like a resort and then like go to another town and do a wine tasting. And, you know, like it just looks so beautiful.
It really does. That sunset. And like even Kyle, I think, said that they thought they looks like they were in Australia. Like you can just pretend you're elsewhere, but it really was magical. That from the second they arrived at this place, it looked beautiful. I think this might be one of my favorite trips, relaxing wise. I was relaxed. I know they might not have been.
This week I was getting a little bit less The Shining vibes. Like it felt a little more like everything felt like a little more bright and opened up. And I think like the activities helped a little bit, but I didn't feel like we were in this like big empty resort again, which was probably for the best. But so we kicked things off with a wine tasting day
for the hotel's business. People are like, I don't want to go there.
Exactly. So we kicked things off with a wine tasting day. And they're like on this like wine tasting trolley thing. And they're like, Sutton, can you get on?
Cool.
Sutton really goes through it this episode with her, like, it just seeing her like in this position of like weakness, and she just like, she can't walk. It doesn't even seem like crutches are really a good option for her because she's like on her scooter most of the time. The way when they go to the boat later in the episode, the way she has to be fireman carried up onto the boat, like, Sutton, please.
Can I just say that, first of all, I want to credit her for, she even said she's listening to the doctor. Like, she's like, I can't even believe I'm listening to the doctor. Like, she's truly staying off of her foot. However, Sutton, you can put your foot down to get onto the boat. I promise you, coming from someone who has broken their foot and been on crutches, etc., you could put your foot down for just 1 second. That kind of her getting onto the boat was a bit dramatic.
Maybe. I mean, I don't know like the exact situation. I feel like there was I feel like even if she didn't put her foot down, I feel like there could have been like a
better way,
disruptive way to get on the boat. Honestly, I feel like for a boat like that, it's weird that everybody has to climb a ladder. Like, why isn't there a ramp or something? I don't know.
Yeah, like, haven't they watched Below Deck? Like, do they not know yachting?
I mean, not that a ramp onto a boat would necessarily be like easy for Sutton's.
Well, she could have wheeled across the ramp.
Okay, but so this wine tasting day, Erica does not come to the wine tasting. Mm-hmm. And so they're like at this place, everybody seems to be having a great time. The wine is delicious. We'd love to see them enjoying the wine. Kathy can't get straight the five S's. She's like sip, swish, swallow.
He was like, that's not the right order. She was like, okay, so then what is it? What is it? I didn't remember. I like took a picture of them so I could remember.
Yeah.
For the next time I go wine tasting.
Yeah. It's always funny to be like, okay, so like, you're like the person at the wine tasting who's like, okay, girls, the 5 S's. And then it's like, oh, I don't actually know what they are. You're like, I just knew that was like a buzzword I was supposed to say at a wine tasting.
No joke. See, sniff, swirl, sip, swallow. Got it.
I don't love that. Like, it just doesn't.
Yeah, no.
Like, sniff. Why can't you say smell?
You know what? Yeah, I guess because you're supposed to just take a little sniff. But if you like say it,
also,
saying sniff and reading it are two different things. Like sniff.
I thought one of them was going to be spit because I thought you usually don't swallow the wine. But I don't know.
These are up in the air. We
don't need to talk about spitting versus swallowing on this podcast. That we can save that for another time. It's a little early in the day for me to have that conversation. Yeah, that's on the premium tier. But so at this wine tasting, Erica's not there. Rinna tells the whole group this story of the robbery and all of the other stuff that happened, the cataracts exploding and the surgery and the sun and the car and the flipping in the snow. And I thought it was curious to see how Rinna, since hearing this story for the first time, and she was having trouble wrapping her mind around it, now she's relaying the story to the rest of the group and saying, this is all true. Everything is true. She sounds to me like Erica's publicist or something. Like, she is like, the way that she's presenting this story and being like, and you guys, every single part of this story, remember, is 100% true. It's just like, Rinna has gotten a lot of criticism this season. And I think like some of it is warranted. Some of it is just people being like annoyed with her. Mm-hmm. But in this moment, I'm like, you can present what Erica told you without spinning it in this way that it's like, and I know for a fact that this is true, because it's like, I mean, you don't.
Right. As I was watching this with them relaying the story, I forgot that the other women still didn't know that this story like existed. I was like, oh my God.
Only Kyle and Dorit really knew. So like Garcelle, Sutton, Crystal are all hearing this story for the first time. And, you know, like Crystal has been pretty supportive of Erica, and Crystal is like, what the fuck? Like, when did it snow? Like, that's weird. Sutton obviously is having trouble with it. Garcelle too. Like, you know, it's clearly this is a story where every single person who hears it, whether it's us watching the show or whether it's these women, it's a crazy story. And so like, I think that's why it's weird for Rinna to be like, why can't she just be like, so this is what Erica told us? Why is she like, and you guys, it's true. It's true. It's like, just chill. Like later in the episode, Sutton and Garcelle are talking about how everyone's kissing Erica's ass. And it's like, in this scene, it's like, she's not even there. And Rinna is still like her like cheerleader.
I was going to say, she's given herself like this role to like step up like immensely to defend Erica, which it's weird because you can look at it two ways. You can look at it which she's being a good friend, but then you can look at it where it's like, okay, let people have their own. I know what you're doing. You're trying to not get people to be like, no, she's lying. But like, I don't know, just do what you need to do. And then let everyone else, if they're her friend, they're her friend. If they're not, like, you did what you could. That's it.
Right. To me, it's like most of the people in this cast are being like varying levels of supportive to Erica. Right. Like, I don't think even Sutton this episode, like we see her she's really struggling with the fact that she and Erica have gotten to such a bad place. Like, she wants to be supportive of Erica. She just feels like she has to ask these questions. And so it's like watching all of these women kind of take different approaches. It just makes Rinna's approach seem like all the more questionable, because it's like, you are riding so hard. And like, when she's talked about how she speaks up when she sees injustice, it's like, so you think there's like so much more injustice happening here than any other time? Because like, I mean, they keep bringing up the Denise thing last season, and like, obviously they're not the exact same situation, but like Rinna clearly still doesn't see any issue with how that went down. And so it's like, I don't know. I just think like the further this goes, the more kind of like cringeworthy her reaction is. And I'm curious to see on the reunion if she really is just kind of like in Erica's corner the whole time, because I think that'll be a tough look, because I think people watching the reunion will be, you know, will want Erica to be questioned and stuff, and like will want her to be like really, will be like analyzing all her behavior. So if Rinna kind of the whole time is just like, woo, Erica, I believe her, everything she says is perfect, like I think it'll just kind of be like, really? Like you're not like thinking for yourself at all, or like having any other kind of like, I don't know, angle to it.
Yeah. Those are the types of things I'm interested in seeing in the reunion, like where people stand, because like what you just said, I can't see Rinna randomly not believing Erica in like 1 ounce of the reunion if she's been like this the entire time, which is like, you have to really have like a strong thought process. I don't know. But anyway, this is so funny during this wine tasting, because Kathy, as the own world that she lives in, gets up and leaves and says she has to go get a massage. And even Kyle almost like nearly spits her wine out. And I laugh too, because it's like, wouldn't that be something that you set up for like everyone would want like a massage or a facial or whatever. So she was like, okay, I'm going to get my massage. And Kyle's like, okay, we'll be here. Like, we're staying. She's like,
right. It's like,
literally,
okay, like, you planned this.
she claims that she still gets headaches. She was filming a Barbie commercial from when she was a little girl and got hit in the head with a golf ball. Honestly, that story is similar to Erica's on a smaller scale, but it's like, wait, what? And you still get headaches?
I don't know. Child actors, a lot of stuff happens. Commercial shoots, you never know. Like,
what was a golf ball doing there?
I don't know. I don't have the like, whatever. I don't know. I want somebody to find this Barbie commercial. Like, that's like, does it exist anywhere? What would this be? Like the 60s? Like, somebody find the Barbie commercial.
I didn't know what you were about to say. And I realized you were going to say you don't feel like you don't have the time or energy to look for this commercial.
Like, I don't think it's going to be like easily findable on YouTube, but I want to know if it exists like literally in any form on the internet. With
the internet investigators that exist these days, someone will find that commercial. I have faith that will appear.
I sure hope so. So back at the hotel, Kyle and Dorit are with Sutton before they're going to their like dinner situation, which also looks really nice. And so they're kind of filling in Sutton on what happened a couple days ago at the pop-up picnic while Sutton was getting her ankle attended to. And they're saying how that was when Erica was kind of rehashing the story about Tom's accident. And she said, allegedly, he was unconscious. And I mean, this was clearly raised a question mark for everyone. And so, of course, Sutton picks up on that right away. She's like, wait, like, how are you allegedly unconscious? Like, Erica, I mean, we talked about this last week. It just doesn't make sense because Erica's the one who brought this story to the table in the first place. And it's like, if the story happened the way you're telling it, then nothing is alleged because like you were there. So it's
Sutton was a bit frisky this episode in all of her confessionals. She was like really coming for, like, she was like, allegedly. And then at one point she was like, are you coming for my store? Like, she was just like, had all of her like lines ready to go talking about Erica. But yeah, I mean, that's true. How were you allegedly unconscious?
Allegedly, y'all are maybe drinking the Kool-Aid because I mean, I don't disagree with her that I think like we're seeing, I think as the season has progressed, more and more these women clearly all have questions or are having trouble believing some of the stories, but to Erica's face don't really want to upset her or for her to get the idea that they're like not on her side. So I think for people like Kyle and Dorit, I can see why Sutton would be a little bit like, really? Like, you're going to have all these questions, but then whatever. I mean, I understand why Sutton kind of is like frustrated because I think if everyone was being 100% honest, then she wouldn't look like such an outlier in terms of how she's dealt with Erica. But then Erica this episode starts, weirdly having some nice things to say about Sutton. She's like bringing up how she, paid rent at her store and that's like a great thing. And then, she's later in the episode when they're walking to the boat, she's like sort of apologizes to her. And Sutton clearly doesn't know how to feel about it. In the confessional, she's like, it's kind of a lame apology, but also like, I don't trust it anyway. Like, I don't know. And then Erica in her confessional, they keep asking her like why she's being nice to Sutton. And she's like, I don't know. I don't want to ruin the weekend. Like, that doesn't mean I don't hate her. And it's like, what are you doing? Like, why are you playing this game?
She did say she apologized when they were walking to the boat. She's like, I apologize for lashing out, which I was like, I hope like she wasn't like apologizing. I feel like for anything, she was just, I feel like apologizing for her reaction because it was a bit harsh. But yeah, she was like, and she said it twice. She's like, I'm not ruining everyone's trip, which is, I guess, nice. Like, she's being cordial, but yeah, it's like, well, you're being cordial and moving on, or you're like she also claims she's not smoothing anything over. Like she doesn't want to be friends, which that's fine. But like,
right.
If you hate somebody, if you hate her, you're not going to be cordial. That's just being like kind of fake, to be honest. If you don't want to be friends with someone, that's another story. Like you can move forward.
And I think it feels a little bit unfair to Sutton that it's like, if you are going to go from 2 weeks ago saying the door is closed, I don't want to speak to you, we're never going to be good again at all. And then in this episode, there are like 3 different moments where she's kind of like, it seems like reaching out an olive branch, but then she's saying that that's not actually like what she wants to do. Like Sutton clearly still has like feelings about her relationship with Erica. And so it almost feels like kind of cruel of Erica. It's like, if you still are saying that you hate this woman and that you're not, the door is closed and whatnot, then like, just keep it that way. Like, don't dangle like a carrot in front of her when you don't actually have any intention of moving forward. Because I think when we see Sutton talking to Kathy on the boat, she feels really bad about how things have gone down. And I think, it's going to be hurtful to Sutton when she sees, or I mean, I guess she's already seen it by now, but I feel like imagining Sutton watching that episode and seeing Erica be like, oh, I still hate her. It's like, damn, that sucks. Like, I thought we had a nice moment.
Right. But while Erica was even doing those things, she was like kind of going back and forth. Like when she said, like, I'm sorry for lashing out, but then she was like, you want me to give you a push? But she was joking about like pushing her in the like water. And then when Sutton was like rolling to dinner, the level like below them, Erica was like, you took the low road, like she was like doing it in the same moments of being nice and mean. So she's like, oh, can't be too nice. Hold on. Got to give a little nudge in there somewhere. Like it really was like you said, dangling a carrot. It's like, what's going on here? But at the same time, I guess it is whatever she is doing is less awkward. Imagine being on a trip like that and 2 people like legitimately aren't speaking and there's only like 6 of you.
No, I mean, I'm glad
so
they're
uncomfortable.
I'm glad to see that there's like some kind of like thawing between them. I just think I wish Erica was a little bit more like what you were saying, like, we're not going to be good friends, but like, I don't need to, never speak to her again. But it just, the difference between how she's acting in real life versus the confessionals, it's like, it just seems a little shady to me. But Erica is like, she's in a good mood for this episode. She's like really feeling her like comedian vibes when they're at this dinner the first night. She's like, mama's broke and paying the bills. And the way the women like cackle at all of her like,
oh my, yes, it like really was
so
hype,
funny
girl.
to me.
They were like, wow, my God, you're so oh my God, you're so funny. You're so funny. I was like, well, that'll really make someone's head grow like a little bit. They were like, oh my God. It was
hilarious though. When she said mama's broke and paying the bills, the way like Dorit and Kyle are like, mama's broke and paying the bills. It's like, okay, so like, yes, it was a funny thing for Erica to say, but also like, mama's broke and paying the bills. Like, she's not really joking about that. Like,
wait, fun fact. I don't remember if you had known this when the whole thing came out, because I didn't. But when she said she lives next door to Armie Hammer, which is just like another like really random fun fact about this situation. It's so bizarre. What are the chances?
For like 2 days, it was like a fun rumor that they were like sleeping together, and she's like, "LOL, no." Erica,
and then like she talked out of like her son. Ew.
Erica doesn't need that in her life. Like, she has enough problems to deal with.
Oh my God. Ew. I just almost vomited like thinking about that again. Like him.
Yeah. I want to talk about Erica's moment with Kyle when she is talking about this latest update. I love how she will like read off like news headlines about Tom and like discuss them on camera. Like, it's just funny, like how she chooses to like throw in this information. So the newest update is that Tom may get evicted from his house and they're going to like sell it off, which obviously it's been on the market for a while now.
Right.
But this is when she says, you know, girl, I have $0 and basically I'm going to walk away with nothing. And this was a moment where like Kyle is like clearly, obviously feeling for her friend, but when she says in the confessional, like it's the victims are like the ones who really like need money and don't have money. And she clearly feels a little uncomfortable the way Erica's kind of like, but you know, like I'm going to come out fine, you know, like we'll figure it out. And it's like, I thought it was like a little refreshing to see Kyle clearly uncomfortable in that moment because she is thinking about the victims.
Right. She like talked to a lawyer and the lawyer was like, you're going to be fine. Like, that's what she was reiterating. But then later on in the episode too, like Rinna said, and I'm like the Rinna trained for defending Erica, but Rinna said that she thinks Erica was told by her lawyers not to say anything about the victims because it looks like she, you know, has something to do with it, because in this, how many episodes there have been, like 18, she hasn't mentioned it once. And I agree with that. And that's like one of the first things I think I said when we started talking about this. Like, I feel like there's a reason why she can't be like that cold-blooded. Like, if she hasn't mentioned them, I feel like there's like a reason why. But at the same time, I hope at least. And it was weird seeing Kyle's face in that moment, because like she was kind of waiting for Erica to say something. But at the same time, it's like, you don't know if she did. And I hate this so much, because it's like, you don't know if she did and they cut it. You don't know what Kyle's face was reacting to. Like, those are the details where I'm just like, that I think too far into, because I'm like, is something missing here? But yeah, I truly feel like she was told not to say anything. And I hope, I hope that's the case.
I agree that is probably the case. I think like, honestly, like, I almost wish she would have just said like, yeah, like I can't really talk about that whole situation. Cause I think it comes off, if she said, look, I can't talk about it, that would make more sense to people. And it would kind of address the elephant in the room versus just being like, kind of pretending it doesn't exist in a way. Mm-hmm. I don't know. I mean, to me, it's just like, it is kind of nice to see that the rest of the women in the group, however they feel about Erica, are like very aware of the bigger picture here. And it's nice. I like, that makes me happy, because like, obviously they live in this like a housewives bubble of what's going on the show. But the fact that somebody like Kyle can still kind of take a step back and see like, this is the bigger problem here. And I think Dorit's on the same page with that. Obviously, like Sutton Garcelle, like I think for the most part, everyone in the cast really like seems to get it, it's just like nice to know. Yeah.
And let me just say that again, that's how I feel as well, looking at the bigger picture as opposed to discussing just Erica on here. But she was like, I'm good. I think what Kyle's thought is like, Erica, you're going to be okay. These victims, though, are still suffering and need it. Like, you're, as much as you're saying you don't have $1, but you're sipping champagne at a resort. So it's like, you have some dollars.
Right. Like, I know you get paid for this. Like, you know, there's like, whatever. There's like some kind of money happening somewhere. She has like 2 people doing her glam still.
Yeah. I was like, wait, did it not start yet? Is that the problem? I was like, how is this happening? It's not, the timeline does not. I was like, okay, Erica, when you get back from this trip is when we're going to take the money away. Because she's literally getting her makeup done in the chair. I was like,
if you're saying I have $0 in the present tense, then it's like, okay, I believe you, I guess.
Your glam squad is owed a little bit.
I know that there's nothing worse than being bad about paying the glam. I feel like that's like the cardinal rule. Like, you got to pay the glam.
I always wonder how that works, but that can be a whole other conversation. Like, do they pay them every time? Do they have like an upfront thing? Is there a salary? Like, I need to know the breakdown of that.
Well, I Have you I watched the first episode of the like Bad Girls Club reunion show that was on Zeus, and like the first episode, like the biggest fight was about like one of the girls like not paying the makeup artist because they had like for this show, I guess the production like wasn't paying for glam. So like they were each supposed to like cash app him like $60 or something. And he was like, I don't want to do your glam. Like you didn't pay me last time or something. Like it's, yeah. I mean,
these people are working hard
like
for their money.
Totally. I mean, I would love like a whole behind the scenes look at how that works because it's like, I'm sure like the people that do glam for housewives, I'm sure have like many, many, many stories.
And like, not only that, so for like, let's say Teresa, for instance, with Priscilla's been doing Teresa's makeup for like over a decade and her family. So it's like, oh yeah, we can find out a lot from Priscilla probably. Not that she would tell
Priscilla's
us. But
great. I mean, she does like Luann and Ramona for stuff too. Like Priscilla knows it all.
When everyone flies to New York for Watch What Happens Live, like she's like everyone's like, let me get Priscilla.
Yeah. I wonder what Priscilla's like rate is.
Yeah, I might.
Or on the West Coast, there's Glam by Pam.
What a lucky name. God. Like what a lucky girl to be named.
Okay, I want to talk about one scene that kind of left like a strange taste in my mouth was when Rinna and Crystal were doing this like paddleboard yoga together, and they show up and Crystal clearly feels like a little uncomfortable about it, like the activity to begin with. And then so she's wearing a swimsuit and Rinna has shown up in like a tank top and leggings. And Crystal says that they were like texting, talking for like 30 minutes before this. And Rinna like promised that she would also wear a swimsuit. And, you know, Crystal, we know, has, you know, some body image struggles. She's had an eating disorder, like all this stuff. Like we know that being on camera in a swimsuit is like not super comfortable for Crystal. And so it just is like, she feels weird about the fact that Rinna like essentially lied about that she was going to wear a swimsuit. Like it just was so weird because it's like, why is this like, it's like, why is Rinna like this? Like, why is she doing this? Like, it's like something is off with Rinna. Like, I don't get how she's like thinking these things through.
At first, when I was watching after Crystal said that, I was like, maybe that is a swimsuit Rinna's wearing, like under, but I was like, no, I don't know. I think she's in full like workout gear. But, you know, you want to see the best in people and you want to know, oh, maybe Rinna forgot, but it was right before. Crystal wouldn't lie about something like that. It was right before. So it was like, maybe like, it is weird, but knowing if you are a good friend and knowing that Crystal does have issues like that, like, was your mindset, oh, maybe this will help make her feel better. But like you betrayed her almost for something that she has like serious feelings about. So I don't know. Rinna over you can't trust her. Like you just can't. Like you can't trust Rinna.
I will say going into the reunion, I feel like Lisa I feel like she's gotten away with a lot over the years. And I think like she's good at like playing the part of the one who always gets in trouble. She's like, oh, people get mad at me all the time. I'm constantly getting raked over the coals. But like, I feel like in terms of actual consequences or like being like held accountable for like stuff she's done to people, I feel like we haven't seen a lot of that. And so like this reunion, I'm interested to see if this is kind of finally the season where her like behavior comes back to bite her, because I feel like most of the women in this group, like, I don't know why they would, like for Garcelle, for Sutton, for Crystal, it's like, I don't feel like Brenna's been a great friend to most of these people.
Ever since Rinna and Garcelle had like their like third or fourth meetup to apologize, and Rinna looked Garcelle dead in the face and said, like, we'll see. I was like, yeah, no, it's going to be a no for me. Like, she like told Garcelle to the face she doesn't know if she'll like, I'll have your back, basically. Like, I don't know. It's just, how could you possibly move forward trusting someone 100% when they're, at least she was honest, but still, no. It's a no.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I'm so excited for the finale next week. I've been waiting to see Crystal's Lunar New Year party for like, since it happened, those photos on social media, everyone looked gorgeous. So I can't wait to see that. And I'm dreading seeing Erica like immediately going back to being a bitch to Sutton. Like, it's going to happen so quick.
Oh,
and
yeah. It's absolutely going to happen. Like, obviously there was the boat, they had their boat night too, which was where it was a little like back and forth. And like you mentioned earlier, like Sutton got emotional, which was kind of sad because like, I don't think she regrets anything she did to Erica, because she said, I'm entitled to ask questions. Like, I shouldn't be like, treated this way for asking questions. But now she's like, I kind of don't know what she's feeling. Cause it's like, are you upset because you're not friends with Erica? Or are you upset because of the way she's treating you? Do you want to move forward? Like, those are just the things that I'm wondering, like, what's going through her head. Like, I don't know. It's a little confusing. It's kind of also to see like grown women. It's like, either you're friends or you're not at this stage. And obviously we know they're not going to be friends anymore, but I don't know. I feel bad. I feel a little bad seeing Sutton cry. I do. I don't have like zero emotion, but
I know. I do. Yeah. The boat day was very nice though. I like the lighting, the view, it just looked like perfection. And they're all like dressed up so cozy. I don't know. Well,
I mean, this is one of the chicest, like Beverly Hills, just like the chicest always. So they can, even Sutton was like to Erica, you look too pretty to be mad at. Like, they just always look so pretty. It's like annoying.
I know. Ugh.
But I'm happy for you guys being so
happy for them on together. Their boat. Can't wait to see the finale. In the meantime, that's going to do it for us. We'll be back on Monday with another episode. Don't forget to rate, review, follow the show wherever you listen. You can follow us on Instagram at Bravo by Betches, and just be cool.
Don't be all like uncool.
Mention It All is produced by Sean Kilby and Jorge Morales Pico. Editing by Sean Kilby. Social media by Dylan Hafer. Guest booking by Nicole Pellegrino. Be sure to follow at Bravo by Betches on Instagram and Twitter. Betches.